This is the story of a tragic night in North Carolina, where a deadly train wreck left more than 20 souls lost, and a ghostly train now roams the rails, screaming through the darkness. A phantom echo of terror that still haunts the bridge to this day. On the evening of April 17, 1891, a strong east wind blew over the flatlands of western North Carolina. Rain poured down the mountain slopes and flowed across the narrow valley where two railways crossed the deep ravine known as Buffalo Creek. At this point, the Southern Railway Company's single-track main line passed over a 142-foot-long, 96-foot-high trestle bridge made up of 8 wooden spans. This bridge would become infamous as the scene of one of the deadliest train wrecks in American history. That fateful night, the No. 30 passenger train, known as the Raleigh Special, pulled by a 16-wheel driving car and 6 passenger cars, had just left Salisbury, North Carolina at 6:30 p.m. with 26 passengers aboard. Its destination was Cincinnati, Ohio. The train had been delayed an hour due to a broken axle near Gold Hill, forcing it to stop while repairs were made. Once fixed, the train continued to travel north along the railroad tracks. As it neared the small town of Statesville, the train's engineer, William F. McNeely, slowed the engine to around 20 miles per hour so it wouldn't hit a work train stopped on the tracks. The crew didn't know there was another work train ahead fixing a washout in the tracks. As the train picked up speed, it entered the curve of a shallow S-shaped segment of the rail line. Suddenly, the front wheels of the first car derailed off the right rail and plunged the entire train down the embankment, the engine and 3 passenger cars landing at the bottom of the ravine. Rescue workers arrived quickly after receiving word of the disaster, but they were met with a heartbreaking sight. 3 of the cars were mangled heaps of burning metal. One lay on its side, partly submerged in the creek. The other 2 were split open like barrels. Of the 26 passengers on board, only 4 survived the crash. More than 20 were killed instantly upon impact. After the accident, the cause was investigated. It seemed like there was no reason for such a high-speed crash. However, one person was found guilty. After extensive questioning of the surviving passengers, engineers, and crew members, officials determined that engineer William McNeely had fallen asleep at the wheel. Due to fatigue, he had missed several signals ordering him to slow down before the curve. Since he was the only crew member who died, he could not defend himself against the accusations. His widow received a settlement of $7,500 and a pension for herself and her 3 children. She accepted the verdict and the payment, and no one ever questioned it until recently. To this day, paranormal investigators are unsure if McInerney was really responsible for the accident or if there was something else that caused the deadly derailment. While many believe the engineer dozed off, others think there was foul play involved, that someone sabotaged the train. Perhaps a third party was responsible for the tragic wreck. Or maybe there was a supernatural force that led to the train disaster. Who knows? The aftermath of the wreck devastated the community and the families of the victims. Over time, though, life moved on and people forgot about the tragedy. But the ghosts of the dead weren't done with the world just yet. Over the years, locals reported hearing unexplained sounds. They claimed they heard the screeching of wheels on the tracks, metal grinding, and the piercing screams of passengers being dragged to their deaths. Some even claimed to have seen a white light streak across the bridge, followed by the rattling of cars. Many believed it was the specter of the train wreck appearing before them, leaving behind a haunting glow that vanished as quickly as it appeared. In 1891, the bridge became known as the Ghost Train Bridge. The name stuck, and to this day, people refer to it as the site of the mysterious happenings. These sightings were usually reported during the late hours of the night, especially around the anniversary of the original crash. Some reports told of seeing a white train with glowing windows speeding across the bridge at night. Those who witnessed it reported seeing shadowy figures waving frantically inside the carriages. Other times, onlookers heard the mournful whistles of the train as it sped past. Then there were those eerie moments when the ghostly train stopped at the edge of the bridge and the spectral passengers stepped out onto the planks, beckoning with arms outstretched towards the living. There were also many cases of cars breaking down in the vicinity of the bridge at night. Each time drivers reported hearing the distinct sound of train brakes, the lights of cars, and the faint cries of terrified passengers. Then just as suddenly, the commotion would cease. When they looked out of their windows, everything was still. Not a car or train was in sight. As the years passed, more and more stories of ghostly encounters near the bridge surfaced. People began to fear the night the ghost train returned, coming back to claim new victims. In 1977, a local newspaper published a story about the ghost train, warning readers that if they heard its mournful whistle, they should stay indoors and keep their windows closed. The last thing anyone wanted was for the ghostly train to enter their home and drag them away to join its spectral passengers. The fear surrounding the train reached its peak in 1981, when a man decided to investigate the ghost sightings for himself. According to what was published in the newspaper, a young man was driving home alone one night when he saw a white light appear in the distance. The light grew brighter, and soon he realized it was coming from a train. He pulled over to watch as the train approached, and then it disappeared. He got in his car and drove toward the train, thinking he could outrun it. But then he started hearing chains dragging metal moans. He could see shadows moving inside the train's windows. As he drew closer, he felt a sudden chill, and the hair on the back of his neck stood on end. He tried to turn away, but it was too late. The train screeched to a halt beside his car. The doors opened, and he felt himself being pulled toward the light. Although no one witnessed his disappearance, they found his abandoned car on the tracks the following morning. His body was discovered lying beside the bridge, having been struck by a train. After the man's death, the occurrences of the ghost train seemed to disappear. People still talk about the ghost train to this day. It has become part of local lore. Whether it is just a folktale or based on actual events is debatable. There are those who swear they have seen the ghostly train with its flickering lights and heard the chilling screams of its passengers. Since the accident, various paranormal groups have conducted investigations on the bridge. During their research, they recorded strange sounds, including screeches, whispers, and whistles. While the bridge remains silent for some, others claim they experienced terrifying noises coming from nowhere. Bostian Bridge still stands as a silent reminder of the tragedy that unfolded there more than a century ago. It waits patiently for the night to fall so it can tell its story once again. The ghost train races across the tracks, leaving behind a spectral scream in the darkness. The tragic tale of the ghost train serves as a warning to those curious enough to seek it out. Locals warn visitors not to go near the bridge at night, as becoming the next victim of the ghost train isn't out of the question. Over a century has passed since the deadly wreck at Bostian Bridge, but the memory of the ghost train still haunts the area. Some say the restless spirits of the deceased continue to wander the tracks, forever searching for peace. Now it's time to make your voice heard. What do you think of this terrifying story? Let us know in the comments. We hope you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to subscribe for more amazing content. Thanks for watching.